Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Robertson. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Faith Goodman. Morning, Ellery. Morning, Donna. Morning, May. Gerard LaFilm. Haven't seen you for a while. Sarah Fox. May Boo. Good morning. Morning, Clodagh Egan. Fiona Reed. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I just wanted to say thank you to April. That we only just got that 20th anniversary. Very, very sweet. That was last year, wasn't it? Is that our 21st anniversary this year? That literally just came through the door this morning. Good morning, Kirsty Wade, Lorraine Eade, Sil Carney. Hey, everyone. It was a very big day yesterday. You will probably have noticed if you're on Instagram. I'm going to leave it to Nadia to sort of obviously discuss in more detail with you guys. But we did bid farewell to our dear Betty and Teddy. They're heading off on adventures, which one has to say, wow, 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 at their grand old age, heading off to Jordan. As Teddy said to me, he said, I came to the UK on a big adventure and I'm going back to Jordan on an even bigger adventure, which I thought was sweet. But it's bittersweet because, of course, they were excited, they were happy, their flight was good, all that kind of stuff. But of course, we're going to miss them. We're going to miss them. Now, Teddy, I said to him, I took him to the corner. I said, Teddy, mate, you're going to get a load more stories for Teddy Talks. And he was like, yes, I will be researching. So I think he's still going to be popping up in the No Name Sunday show. So that's our hope, over Zoom or Skype or something like that. So yeah, very sad, very emotional, very tearful. But yeah, look, all your lovely messages for them. Thank you so much. How are you all? How are you? As I say, I'll leave it to Nadia to talk in more detail. Got some weird news stories today, haven't we? We've got, what have we got? Celebrations. The tub of sweets are making a dramatic decision. And you notice I've put that right at the top of the agenda. Bounties, around bounties. Accents. So have a think about your celebration box. What's your favorite sweet? I'm getting a tickly cough again. Accents. Do you have an accent? Do you judge an accent? Have you been judged for your accent? Bonfire night memories. Obviously, bonfire night is coming up. Have you got divorced in lockdown or because of lockdown? Do you know anyone who has got divorced because of lockdown? Tattoos and children. Should underage children be tattooed? And one of the first stories I'm going to want to talk about, the only reason, well, it's not the only reason, it's an incredibly important subject matter. But one of the top stories, if you are in any way across any of the news channels, it's all around the migrant crisis. And there was one particular aspect of it that I thought was particularly emotional. And this was a girl or a child in one of the migrant camps chucking a message in a bottle over the fence. Here's that message. Very, very sad. I mean, it's just another reminder that if it was our kid, how would we feel if it was a British child? And I think we mentioned it the other day. I do think we have to, before, look, it's a problem that needs to be solved. It's a problem that can't be solved by just having an open door policy to everyone. One has to think about this. One has to find a fair, equitable way of dealing with it. But also, there but for the grace of God go we. And we never know in this incredibly temperamental world with Russia saying things like, we're on the brink of nuclear war and stuff like that. Who knows? We could all find ourselves being migrants. But this letter, some excerpts from this letter say things like, let me just find it. We really need your help. Please help us. They talk about a disabled child saying he's really bad. They don't even care about him. It's not easy for someone who has children. It describes conditions as being like a prison. The letter was addressed to journalists and organizations. They should be in school, not prison, these children. They say that the food is so bad it makes us feel sick. What do you honestly think the solution to this is? What do you think the solution to this is? You know, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, you know, the government are looking at not only Rwanda, but they're looking at a whole host of other countries that they're thinking of sending people to. But I just wanted to read that letter. It's just another reminder of how tragically sad the migrant crisis is, and I think we sometimes lose the human aspect of the migrant crisis because we just see the headlines and we don't think of the individuals. No, Mabu. I mean, it literally is. It's easy to kind of condemn every decision that's being made, but what are the solutions? I don't know. Anyway, that's that. One of the other stories we're going to be talking about is Gwyneth Paltrow. Bless her. You know, she keeps on selling vagina-smelling candles. They've sold out, by the way, but we'll get to some of the other things that she's trying to sell. Accents. What's your accent? Who here has an accent? I love your accent, Fiona, says Clodagh Egan. It is a miserable rainy day, isn't it? Saab Turbo. Does anyone here have an accent? I hate mine, says Fiona Reed. The windy tree hugger. I like your change of name. Sammy J. Peach. My southern accent is always recognised as I now live in Nottingham. I think what's curious about this is there's a report, or there's been a research paper done on how people especially in colleges, more in colleges than in the workplace, are prejudiced against because of their accent, or people make judgments based on their accent. But I have to say, whenever I've been up north, as many judgments are made, the judgments being that the sort of southern posh accent is, or not posh, but, you know, the southern accent, the non-accent. I mean, I think the south of England just has a really boring accent. Of course, there is the Kent accent. There is the sort of Somerset accent and all that kind of stuff. Devon accent, Cornish accent, Scottish accent. But I think this idea that the only prejudice is against regional accents, I think that's not true, because I think there's huge prejudice and assumptions made about southern accents. Oh, here we go. Look, Silkani, I have a southern accent and I get judged for being posh. Yeah, London accents. Mabu, South London, that tries to be posh, as my son says. I tell you an accent that really does my nut in. It's when, and again, it's not against posh people, but it's when posh people try to talk in a London, in a sort of what they would describe as a more street accent. It just sounds ridiculous. Sounds ridiculous. Mockney, that's what we call it, Mockney. Sean Tucker. I don't think my accent is that strong, but I have a West Country Somerset accent. Huge judgment made against Angela Rayner. Absolutely right. The inference being that if you have a London or a strong London Cockney accent or Northern accent, you're perhaps not going to be as educated. I mean, you know, it's ridiculous. Gerard film. I love a Yorkshire accent, also a West Scotland accent. Love the Cornish and Irish, says Mabu. I mean, when I was a kid, and we have so many Irish followers here, when I was a kid, my mum's girlfriend when I was a teenager was Irish. Her family were Irish. There were such judgments made of anyone with an Irish. I mean, it was a judgment made of the Irish, but the Irish accent, you know, was severely judged. Tina Davis, I've always lived in Kent, but I don't think I have an accent, but other people probably think differently. Yeah, my Fleur has a little bit of a Kent accent. What has anyone else been sort of prejudiced against with a southern accent? What's your favorite accent? What's your favorite accent? So the story here is that 1 in 4 people have had their accents mocked at work. And this increases to people being mocked about their accents when they're at university. 30% of people in university had experienced being mocked, criticized, or singled out for their manner of speaking. I have to confess, I felt like I stood out. Computer, sounded like computer. I remember thinking, because I didn't, I mean, you know, people say I speak well, whatever that means, but I don't speak posh. And when I was at college, I felt that. You'll notice still on screen. Oh, yeah, sorry. Let me pop that back. Oh, yeah. Well remembered. Boop. Sorry, that was the letter from the migrant girl. The Geordie accent is a winner for me, says numero uno. Yeah, I like the Geordie. I mean, I have the Mancunian, the Brummie, Birmingham. I have to confess, my nan absolutely sort of tried to drive any evidence of a Birmingham accent out of me. Elizabeth Millett, I've had that a lot. When you're in America, people think you're Australian. It's weird, isn't it? Clodagh, someone once asked if I was from the north of Ireland, which I'm not. I have a bland and boring accent. I'm sure you don't. Zoe Griffiths-Brown, I love the Irish accent, and I'm from east coast of Scotland. I've always been told I have a posh Scottish accent. Charlie Mason, I'm from Sussex, but lived in Somerset for 20 years. Family in Sussex take the mick out of my accent, which I can't hear at all. Carl Mitchell, I've got a West Country accent and I don't like it. Morning, Erin. Yeah, Silkani, it's funny because my dad grew up in Yorkshire and Norfolk, famous for its accents, but his is very mild, you could tell, except for certain words. I mean, you know, so many stereotypes are attached to accents, aren't there? You know, and there's a big push in broadcasting for us to hear different. I think it's about, you have a farmer's accent, Ross Such. It's about hearing it more, and then judgments become, it's like diversity, isn't it? Diversity of accent. DT, I have a southern posh accent, not posh, but well-spoken. I say budgie, Nanny Di says budgie. I say bath, she says bath. I say grass, she says grass. I say laugh, she says laugh. All that kind of stuff. My nan was born in Stafford. She was Staffordshire. Her accent have you noticed how some old people, their accents get stronger as they get older? It's almost like, I don't know, it's like they immerse themselves back in who they are or what they are. Carla Hatcham, I too get asked if I'm Australian. I'm from Southampton, living in Massachusetts. How did you find yourself in Massachusetts? That's quite a difference. Kirsty Wade, when I moved to Derbyshire as a teenager, the kids took the mickey out of me, out of my Yorkshire accent, by saying I sounded posh. Yeah, sort of posh southerner, isn't it? Oh, you're a bit posh. You're a bit posh. I mean, there's reverse snobbery, isn't there? There's the idea that maybe you're uneducated, and then there's the idea that maybe you were born with a spoon in your mouth. What is the origin of that spoon in your mouth idea? What is it? Is it literally a spoon in the mouth? My northern family say I sound posh, says Jenny J. Well, there you go. There's a accents commonly stereotyped as working class accents include Manchester. No one's mentioned Liverpudlian, Birmingham, as well as Afro-Caribbean and Indian accents. They're all ranked lower. The guy who did the survey said it's disgraceful that people are mocked, criticized, or singled out. It is. What's RP stand for in RP English? Is it what does RP stand for? Does anyone know? RP English. I'm sure so. Yeah, no, Sarah Fox, I know it indicates wealth, but why in the mouth? Is it because you're spoon-fed by someone else? Is that right? Oh, thanks, Zoe Griffiths-Brown. That's very sweet of you. I find my accent really fucking boring. Excuse my language. You know we swear. Okay, celebrations. What's your favorite celebration? And let's get on to the meaningful, meaty stuff. Chocolate boxes, Christmas chocolate box. Or what's your favorite box of chocolates? Received pronunciation. Thank you, Lee. Received pronunciation. From who? From the person with the silver spoon. Maybe the received pronunciation is on the silver spoon and they feed it to you. Received pronunciation English. Silver has antibacterial properties, says Edward Bevington. Wow. Okay, so the story is in certain boxes, not all boxes, but in certain tubs, they're called tubs, aren't they? The bounty is going to be removed. Now, we always have a tub left with bounties, and that's despite Nadia saying she loves bounties. I don't believe her. What's your favorite? Elizabeth Millett, Galaxy, Caramel, or Mars? I've said highly, haven't I? Twix. Twix is funny, isn't it? Don't you think there's some chocolates that you kind of are so popular and then over time they just lose it? Purple Quality Street, is that the one with sort of a nut in it? Then you get the giant ones and then you get the really giant ones. Abbey Reed, anyone's guess. Maltesers. I've got a terrible admission to make on Maltesers. I only like a Malteser if I eat an entire grab bag. because they then cake into your fillings. The green triangle, Kylie Mitchell. Carla Hatcham, I leave the bounties for my mum. Good plan. Hate bounty, says Fiona the Windy Tree Hugger Reed. Snickers, says Laura V. I like a Snickers ice cream. I'm not too fond of a Snickers bar. I'm an oddball, says Kirsty Wade. I love the coffee and coconut ones. I like the coffee ones. Coconut ones, I guess, are the bounty ones, aren't they? Galaxy. Nadia hates Galaxy. Apparently, you can split the population down the middle with Cadbury's versus Galaxy. Rolos put in the fridge. Oh. Hi, Michelle Nye. How are you, my darling? Maltesers are my fave. Whisper, Janine Amory. That's like a sophisticated aero, isn't it? It's like, I'm so tight with my holes. I don't know what that means. You love Bounty, Cloda. No-mo, says DT. Bounty all the way, Galaxy. Yeah, well, so in certain boxes, Mars, who produced the thing, Mars Wrigley, they carried out a survey of 2,000 Brits and found that 39% thought the coconut ones, Bounty ones, should be discontinued. So in some Tesco's, they're going to customers are going to be able to exchange tubs bought that day for a new Bounty copy or tub. Their limited edition tubs will put more Mars, Snickers, Milky Way. Milky Way. No one's mentioned the Milky Way. The Milky Way is sort of a poor man's Mars, isn't it? I used to love a Milky Way as a kid. Oh, hopefully I've just answered that for you, Zoe Griffiths-Brown. Yeah, they're going to replace it with all the others. They're not going to replace it with anything new. They're just going to replace it with more of the others. Mars, Snickers, Milky Way, Galaxy, and Maltesers will make up for it. 39% want them gone for good. 22% like Bounty the least. 28% of people believe coconut did not belong in a chocolate bar at all. I'm of that opinion. I think it's absolutely heinous. It's a sacrilegious act. Hate it. Polling suggested it was popular with a more mature palate. That's Nats because she's an oldie. It follows a bounty return scheme last year. Good God, I didn't know this. In which bounty haters were able to return their unwanted chocolates and swap them for Maltesers over the Christmas period. This is a big deal. They're going to have recycling bins, like where they have put your knife and gun. We have recycling bins for weapons. Did you know that? Literally, all our local Sainsbury's, there's a gun on the front and a knife, and it says, please deposit your weapon. Maybe they should put the bounty recycler to the right of that. To those loyal and secret bounty lovers out there, there's still a chance they'll make a return after the trial. Just buy a bounty bar. Just go and buy a bounty. So there you go. I mean, that's the kind of thing. I always remember working with Nigel Slater, and he said the only thing that would cause a revolution in this country is if you banned digestive biscuits. Talking of which, if you go for a chocolate digestive, which do you go for? Plain or milk? I'm not a fan of the Aero, the Mint Aero. Diwali celebration use a lot of coconut in their sweets. Bloody lovely. Nice. So Milky Ways in the USA taste the same as a Mars bar in the UK. How confusing is that? See, who remembers Snickers being called marathons? Plain milk. Oh, okay, it's splitting down the middle. Plain milk. See, I prefer milk and everything. I hate plain chocolate. It's awful. Law, both. I'm a pig. Okay, well, let's move on. That's your bounty now. Oh, okay, hang on. No, don't want to do that. What about this? What do you think of this? Baby went viral on TikTok. I think it was shot in Israel, as the parents put stencils on a baby's body, and 22 million people have watched this. And of course, they thought that the baby was then going to be tattooed, as did I. It wasn't, though. These were just stencils. But the father and the tattooist were saying, it's important to introduce babies to the concept of tattoos. Do you agree? Legally, you're not allowed to have a tattoo under the age of 16. Is that right? Or is it 18? Is it 18? Foul unless ceremonial, Edward Bevington. I was thinking about that. I was wondering whether, in sort of Maori culture, Pacific sort of cultures, whether that was, something that babies do. Zoe Griffiths Brown, no, 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 and thrice or quadruplice, no. Of course they didn't tattoo the baby. No, they didn't tattoo the baby. These were stencils. And I suppose you could argue, who remembers getting those kind of wash-off temporary tattoos? They were everywhere in the 70s. Everywhere. And the baby won't know what's going on. Is it not harmless? Is it harmless just to put a stencil on a baby? Is it any different to henna tattoos, which again are often cultural? I always remember some of the girls in my class coming in with henna, and they had the most elaborate patterns on their hands. Yeah, no. So of course everyone went ballistic, and of course the baby didn't have it. But I didn't know whether what you thought of that, and whether the whole idea. Do you think it's all right for a child to get a tattoo at the age of 16 if it's 18? Yeah, you used to get them with bubblegum, Janine Amory. That's right. What's the point, says Elizabeth Millett? That baby has no clue. It's only benefiting the parents. How do they know the baby will even want a tattoo when it's older? So why do you need to get them used to it? Totally agree. Totally agree. Made to make your mouth water. Ooh, I'm talking about opal fruits there, which are now starburst. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at, someone just said they did divorce during lockdown. Lockdowns are linked to a 10% surge in couples divorcing. I'm not entirely sure. It is Bazooka. It was in the Bazooka. They had Bazooka chewing gum or bubble gum. Who was it who said they divorced? Hello, Mark. Petal Cake. Here we are. Yes, I got divorced during COVID. COVID made what was bad even worse. Not surprising when you are holed up with the same person for days and days and days on end. It's either going to be, they kept saying in lockdown, didn't they? It's make or break. Well, they are saying that, the numbers are coming through. I wonder, though, whether some of the numbers are attached to the fact that now you don't have to claim sort of bad behavior, do you? You don't have to apportion blame to a spouse. You know how in the old days you had to say, oh, he's neglectful, or he's this, or he's that. And then you'd have to construct a reason sometimes. I mean, not often. I mean, sometimes. Oh, look, Elizabeth Millett, I got a tattoo at 21 and regret it now. Wash-off tattoos are okay for older kids, as we all love them. But when a baby hasn't got a choice, yeah, no, I know what you mean. Probably problems before, but just brought it to the surface, maybe. Exactly. So, again, there's no kind of surprise in this. And I think 10% isn't. I think generally marriages are on the decline, though, aren't they? Marriages themselves are going down. And I think part of that is cost. Part of that is, I just think as generations come through, I mean, in a weird way, a marriage and a wedding, for a lot of people, is, think of bridezillas and groomzillas, it's a bit of a status symbol thing, isn't it? What your wedding was like, status. And I think a lot of youngsters aren't interested in that. And also they just can't afford to. You're joking, Faith. Biden is planning to run for president again. Oh, no. It's an offense against a minor if they're under 18, good ship lollipop. Talking tattoos. Gerard Gardner film makes you think how many couples stay together because they don't actually spend much time together. I entirely agree. It's like you want to spend the rest of your life with this person, but you want to avoid them as much as you can during a marriage. It's like, I have to confess, though, and this is no, if you've done it yourself, I do apologize. I don't understand having babies, having a child, and then sending them off to boarding school. I literally don't, because what you're saying is that child is simply a status symbol that you want to achieve things so you can go to dinner parties and say, my child has achieved A, B, C, and D. And you're going to be at dinner parties where everyone's other child has done exactly the same. They're all exactly the same, and they're zero interest. Happy birthday, Jack. Where's Jack? Jackie Roswell. Birthday girl in the house. Jackie Roswell. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jackie. Happy birthday to you. So yeah, 10% of people getting divorced, 10% more people getting divorced. Right, Bonfire night. It's Bonfire night this weekend. My first memory of a bonfire night was being chased down a whatever the kind of park we were in, chased literally by what looked like a heat-seeking rocket. It wouldn't leave me alone. It's hurtled along the floor. It was snaking along the floor like a snake. And then I remember taking Izzy to a bonfire night on Blackheath when she was a baby. And the sounds of the fireworks were so loud. Bless her. She wet herself. I know, it's just like, in a weird way, they're great. In another way, fireworks don't do it for me. If you saw our Margate vlog, there was a fabulous fireworks display on the beach. I'm not a massive fan of fireworks. Fiona Reid, I bloody hate bonfire night. The dogs are frightened. I know Chi Chi just keeps barking and running into the garden. Good ship lollipop. My mum had 4 kids and she doesn't even like kids much. It's weird, isn't it? Oh, Beth Scammell, I got diagnosed with ADHD yesterday. Can I get a song celebrating that? Beth, she's got ADHD. She'll move really fast and she buzzes like a bee. There you go. I don't like bonfire night, Sonia Donovan. I agree. At least the parents are getting the attention they're craving, says Wendy S. I presume you're talking about, is that children who go into boarding school? Edward Bevington, my ancestor was a conspirator. You do well to start rubbing this celebration out. Just an excuse for yobs now. Yeah, I went into a newsagent's the other day and I thought, well, where are all the fireworks? And they'd taken all the ice creams out and they were storing them. They were storing them in the ice cream box, the freezer. Let me just, sorry, I just got to reply to Kiki at school. Just 1 second. Give me 5 minutes. I'm so lucky my dog doesn't seem to be bothered at all by fireworks, says Elizabeth Millett. He's only 3, so I hope it stays that way. Must be hard if you've got a dog who's terrified. Guinea pigs are petrified too. Have you seen a guinea pig on bonfire night? It's like that. Kirsty Wade, best thing about bonfire night nowadays is the invention of silent fireworks. Just wish more people would use them. All 3 of my children are autistic, so could never take them to an organized one. Yeah, I get you. I know what you mean. Now, we've all, hang on. No, this story, hang on a minute. This is funny. Well, is it funny? What do you think? Oh, hang on. No, I didn't bloody save the image. What an absolute moron. Sorry, that was the very reason I went on StreamYard. Where is it? In one. Bullseye. Where, hang on, bear with me. Edenbridge. The Edenbridge Bonfire Society are creating a effigy of Liz Truss with a laughing lettuce. It's essentially it looks like a sort of huge pieces of plywood attached together. And there's Liz Truss with a laughing lettuce on her shoulder. So look it up. Liz Truss with laughing lettuce has been unveiled as the celebrity guy. Do you remember guys? Do you remember kids? I think me and Perry Radford sat on Ladbroke Grove with a guy, a pair of trousers and just a pillow. The Liz Truss guy contains a copy of a mini budget, a Make Britain Great Again red cap, a T-shirt with the slogan "I'm a fighter, not a quitter," and a check for 115,000 in reference to her funding provided to ex-prime ministers. The box itself has a big upside down U with the words "This way up," the wrong way up, and the words "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, Packaging Limited" on the side. Who remembers Guys? Penny for the Guy. You don't see Guys anymore. You don't see Kitty. I mean, yeah. Form of bullying, says Clodagh Egan. You're right. It's not wrong. And it's quite sort of harsh, isn't it? The idea that you're going to set them on fire. I mean, actually, think about it. It's awful. Janice Cosgrove. We don't know. Mega. Bit far, says maybe. Oh, it's interesting. A lot of people finding that quite offensive. Yeah, it's interesting. But guys, yeah, sitting on the street with a guy. Penny for the Guy. I remember pretending I had a cough. Penny for the Guy. Penny for the Guy. Now, let's get to Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow has released a Goop holiday gift guide. Goop being her sort of company, brand. And on her list of, let me show you it, on her list of suggested Christmas gifts is this. And I want you to tell me what you think this is. It's a tufted boudoir chaise longue for the bedroom, the living room, the sex dungeon. I kid you not, coming in, oh, she's selling it, coming in at a snip, $28,500. That's one of Gwyneth's suggestions. Now, you're going to be staggered and amazed. Burning effigy is not a good idea. Dehumanizing anyone, no matter how awful they are, is not the right road to go down. Well done. It's true. Seen it all now, says Zoe Griffiths-Brown. Okay, what else is she suggesting? Let's have a look. She's got nearly £30,000 sex chair. I'll leave that up. Get this, a $420 Gucci dog poo bag. $420 Gucci dog poop bag. Let's go to lifestyle. Oh, that's not right. Hang on. What else has she got? She's got, get this, $18 set, an $18 set of neon toilet paper. We could get that for Nanny Di. She could find it in the dark. She's sold out already of vagina candles, vagina scented candles, I'm afraid. So we've got the 28,000 sex chair. The item described as a tufted boudoir chaise and a foundation for fantasy. It's crafted from brass and black leather. Let's just have another look at it. Look, there's another shot of it here. But this other one here, which what planet is she on? $420 waist bag holder for fancy pets. I've said that. A $2,500 Louis Vuitton surfboard. Wouldn't want to use it, would you? A naturally cool underground cellar, which is like a fridge built into your ground. Do you remember the kind of hatch that they all run into to hide from the tornado in The Wizard of Oz? It's like an elaborate one of those with a fridge door on it. For $16,000, you can keep your wine in there. But get this, for $240, you could have a satin baguette bag. That's the one on the left. A satin baguette bag for $240. Whereas those looking to connect with your higher self can gift a $300 joint rolling, spliff rolling machine. She's selling a trailer, like a caravan, for $340,000. And she's selling a 2-person full spectrum infrared sauna for $8,000. There's $100, if you can only afford something under $100, she's got a $100 Goop home frying pan, which as soon as you use it and it hits a certain heat, smells of fried vagina. It's nice, isn't it? Baguette bag. Yeah, that's a baguette bag. Look at it. I'd want to draw a face on the baguette, wouldn't you? It looks like it's got little arms. It's a baguette with arms. Anyway, I thought I'd leave you with a bit of Gwyneth Paltrow madness. A baguette bag. I mean, I just don't know what to say anymore. I might have a look at the old £28,500 dungeon chair, though. Anyway, let's call it interesting, says MT. Natasha Tiramos, this was always something missing. There was always something missing in my life, but I never knew what it was until now. It was a baguette bag. Absolutely. I mean, I didn't even, a baguette bag with a handle. It's got a handle above it. Okay, well, there you go. Guys, have a lovely day. Your 6th installment of yoga, me being a moany old bastard and Nadia being, totally overwhelmed in a good way by yoga. So have a lovely day, guys.